Woo, the Golden Stallion, the man of tomorrow, Savzu, the rated R radio star, the best in the world, as some people say, the podcast champion. Woo! Here for you. Well, I'm just doing a little custom intro. I had the pleasure of being on a show that I've been on a few times. Ernie Hancock, of course, of Declare Your Independence. He has me on, here and there, every once in a while, when there's something. Usually what'll happen is there's something happening in the tech world, and he needs somebody who, he trusts that can kind of break it down, as far as what's going on. Not that Ernie isn't a smart guy and doesn't know some of his tech. I mean, he knows more than he likes to let on. But anyway, he'll invite me on and we'll talk about whatever. And it's always a lot of fun because Ernie delivers. He has a delivery. He has a style on mic that is, in some ways, I feel similar to mine. Like, I call him a stallion, just like I'm the Golden Stallion. Well, he's another stallion out there because he's just got that, that energy, that excitement, and can kind of talk about anything and always has like a story to relate to whatever the fuck he's talking about. And I like to think I bring on something kind of similar, even though Ernie, has got me by a good 15, 20 years as far as age. But, and has a lot more experience and has been, is not new to this whole game of libertarianism and anarchism and all of that. But it's always a lot of fun to be on his show. This is just getting released, and he had other guests on his show. Sometimes, most of the time that he's had me on, he usually keeps me into overtime. But I was maybe like the first or second hour of the show. And so he didn't keep me on for, through the other people that were going to be on. But often he'll have me on to like interview the other guests and everything and to help him out with that, because he gets a lot of crypto people on his show now, which is worth listening to. So, especially for that. But anyway, he's going to have me on again. I believe it is next Friday. So this appearance that you're about to hear is from March 13th. And next time I'll be on will be March 23rd. And I'll, of course, release that audio as well when that comes, out. I'll put it in the Patreon feed, just because I like the Patreon feed to be a very complete package. It must as much as it can be, where you get everything, every appearance that I make, all of that stuff. You get all the extras. And as I always say, you don't have to listen to everything that comes out on Patreon, okay? You can just listen to, what you want. But anyway, this episode was interesting. I didn't know which way it was going to go. I didn't know what exactly. I got a hint as to what we would end up talking about, but mainly we ended up talking about. I just ended up complaining about a subject that I've brought up many times on Sovereign Tech Prime, which is that, if we would just get past this obsession with streaming and transmitting video, that we could already have the alternative internets, plural, and the alternative infrastructure and the encrypted infrastructure, the secure infrastructure and all this, ready to go. Like, it already happened. But so many projects, and I've talked about this on weekly Q&As. I had people ask me, what did I think of library, lbry.io? What did I think about that? Well, I respect the people involved. I really do. I know some of them. They're either friends or acquaintances. But I think that to try to take on YouTube is, I don't want to say it's a waste of time. I applaud their efforts and their gusto, but it's a fool's errand. Okay. I don't know any other way to say it. It's a fool's errand. Like, don't even try taking on YouTube for one. When you look at the metrics behind YouTube, what it takes for YouTube to even operate the way that it does, how much video gets uploaded, how much is getting streamed. The codecs and, the protocols that have been developed just to solve the YouTube problem of how to make YouTube work efficiently, quickly, and all that. It's an internet unto itself. And you think you're going to take that on? It's a juggernaut. It's something that really, I think the only company that could actually take on YouTube would have to be like Netflix. Like Netflix, Twitch isn't taking it on. Twitch is doing fairly well for what it is, but it's still largely considered a gaming product. If Netflix tried to make like its own, Netflix stars, or, kind of like YouTube stars, right? If it tried to do that and tried to create like a more user uploading experience or have that be kind of a meta layer of what Netflix is. I think because so many people have Netflix, it could work, and you could have a very interesting advertising model not advertising, funding model. You don't want to do advertising, but you could have an interesting funding model involved with that. But that's really the only company that could pull it off. Like, I mean, anybody else trying to do that, I have a hard time in good conscience giving you my money. As much as I appreciate the spirit and the effort of what they're trying to do. I mean, LBRY is all about, look, it's run by, liberty-oriented people. I mean, they get it, that you want these alternatives and everything. And I'm not saying I don't want the alternatives to exist, but I just, I would work on other things, because there's, LBRY library has very interesting, tech behind it. And I would just point it elsewhere. Anyway, that's just me. I mean, actually, you know what? Here's the winning. And I know Alexandria kind of tried to do this, but here's the winning product. Okay. It's still up for grabs. I really still think this is up for grabs. The premier podcast network / platform that's still up in the air. It's not Apple, despite the changes that they made. Amazon is not allowing everybody to kind of get on board. Otherwise, I think they might have had a winner if they combined more podcasting and more independent podcasting with an Audible subscription. I mean, they have some podcasts on there, but look, nobody's got this licked. And I think that's an area where you could do it. And you could do it because, audio can be, like you'll hear Ernie and I talk about, audio can be compressed, pretty significantly and to where it's a very small data size, So I would, that's the direction I would go with this sort of stuff. Taking on YouTube is just foolish. And now a couple other things, just because I like you, since you're a patron, and you can listen to this episode for free, and I put the link in the show notes so you can listen to the entire episode if you want to hear the other guests that were on. But, I like to give you a little something unique and maybe expand a little bit upon what I was saying in the show, for you patrons, so that you have something special here. So one thing I brought up that I didn't really expand upon, and Ernie kind of hints at it. So when I got an email being asked to be on the show, and that's how I personally operate. I don't ask to be on shows. Shows need to ask me. That's just, am I being an ass in acting that way? No, I don't think so. I like to have, that's just how I like to operate. I don't like to beg. I don't like to plead. I like to have the respect of being asked. I appreciate that. And Ernie certainly, respects me and appreciates me. And that's why I'm on the show so often. I've got to be one of his most frequent guests. But anyway, so he was, when he got in touch with me, or his producer got in touch with me and saying, hey, we'd like to have you on the show again. And they give you a little bit of what they want to talk about. And some of the things, like, I think we were supposed to talk about Bitcoin Cash. We didn't get to that. Probably a good thing, because everybody just gets mad at me for some reason when I talk about Bitcoin Cash. I can't imagine why. Because they think I'm against it when, like I said, I'm not against Bitcoin Cash. I'm just against Bitcoin Cash calling itself Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash can exist all day long. I don't care, just like all the other altcoins can. It's fine with me. So, there's other things you're supposed to talk about, but he did mention, we want to talk about YouTube censorship and all that stuff. Okay, and so that's how the video conversation kind of started, is that was one of the things that I was informed that we would want to talk about. And he mentions that he had these various characters on, Luke Radowski and some others, that were concerned about what was going on with YouTube. Look, I'm not concerned about, I have a YouTube channel. I have some YouTube videos that have some odd 10,000 views. I mean, I have some popular videos out there that get a lot of comments and all this other stuff. I don't give a rat's fucking ass if YouTube shut down my channel. I don't care if Google deleted my entire account, killed everything I've got. In fact, that would almost be a blessing. Okay. Make me famous, for one. For two, good. I don't want your shit anyway. But regardless, here's the thing, is that when you hear Liberty people get all hot and bothered about what YouTube's doing, like, oh, they shut down my channel because I spoke the truth. I spoke truth to power. Oh, they shut down my channel because of this, because, blah, because the liberals hate us, blah, 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 blah. And it is all blah, 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 blah. It's all bullshit. Okay. First off, the libertarian stance is that YouTube can shut you down at any given moment, especially because you don't pay them a dime to host, your terabytes, perhaps even, a video that you've uploaded to their site. Not a dime. You could say, oh, well, you're making YouTube some money. Oh, yeah. Look, reality check. Okay. And I have total respect for libertarians, anarchists of all stripes and whatever. Okay. But reality check. You're not that big a deal. You are, if you're popular with 0.01% of the world's population, if that. Get over yourself. You hear me? So what they're worried about, and they're worried about, oh, there's all, like, I got an email myself. I got an email the other day, and they said, oh, because of changes to YouTube's policy, you're not allowed to monetize your videos anymore. Didn't bother me at all, because I turned off monetization on all of my videos the instant I upload them. I mean, like, I don't need to make money doing this. But that's the thing, is that these fucking people who, there's some activists that do video, there's guys out there that do video that actually I have a ton of respect for and have done video for me, and I think they're wonderful, and they're really getting, but these are guys that are often not just at Liberty events, they're at, they're at like at the hacker conferences and like these other kind of, more tech related or really building the future kind of conferences. And, they're really putting out their really worthwhile stuff. But you've got a lot of these guys in the Liberty movement who, their livelihoods are based off of making these asinine YouTube videos where they're, I don't know, making fun of politicians and all that stuff. Like that's even worthwhile, really. Who cares? I mean, what? Because you made fun of them, suddenly people are going to think that politicians are ridiculous? No, they either think they're ridiculous based on what is right in front of their face and talked about on CNN and pick your news network, okay? Or they're not going to care. You just think you're being funny and cool, and you're yanking money from people that sadly don't know better and that think that you're doing something important when you're not. So these people, I mean, ethically, they shouldn't have a problem with YouTube taking their videos down. And at the same time, like, again, the real problem is that it's going to hit them in their wallet. That's it. It'll hit them in their wallet. And that's what they're afraid of. Does the Golden Stallion have similar views? What Stallion? What if they kicked you off of Patreon? How many times have I heard that? Go ahead. I'll make do other ways. I'm a smart guy and I can figure shit out and I can come up with alternatives. And, there's all kinds. I mean, look, we have the cryptocurrency evolution. Okay. There's no need, it's not like they can shut down everything I've got. That's impossible thanks to cryptocurrencies. Thank you, blockchain technology. Woo. It'll be fine. And I can come up with alternatives. I can host my podcast from my own fucking server. No one will ever shut it down. I know how. I can do this stuff because I spend time learning instead of just heckling people and going to dumbass Bilderberg meetings for no purpose whatsoever other than to make fools of yourselves. And I mean, yeah. So, I don't rely on YouTube, and I don't think anybody should rely on YouTube. You shouldn't rely on a single Google service for what you do. Okay. You just shouldn't. And, sure, do I use Hangouts to do the live Q&A? You bet. I'll find an alternative if somehow everything gets shut down. And there are alternatives, and some of them are, free and open source. Should I be using those right now? I could. But for right now, to allow for the most people to get access to it and everything, I'll use it until they do shut me down. And when they do, then we go to the alternatives. Okay. But I'm not reliant upon these things. And also, I wouldn't allow my livelihood to depend upon a company like Google. Like, what kind of idiocy, or your livelihood to depend on Facebook. Wow. I mean, a gut check. You got to rethink your life if you're counting on these companies for how you make money. So anyway, that is, kind of that's sort of a side issue, really, as much as I was just talking about it. It's kind of a side issue as far as, what's going on with YouTube and censorship and all this stuff. And look, I take censorship very seriously. Don't confuse me. But I also have no illusions about who Google works for and what Google's purpose is and what Google wants and what they will do. I'm not going to pretend that they give a shit about free speech, liberty, anarchism, or anything like that, which apparently these other people do. And really, of course, they don't. They know just as well as I do. It's just they got to keep that cash flow going so they don't have to get an actual job or actually develop, make things that are worthwhile and do things that are worthwhile. I got an email into Sovereign Tech Prime that actually asked me, so Brian, what are you doing? Like, entertainment, it's not the time for entertainment. What are you doing to build the future? What are you doing to build it? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to respond to that here, but boy, is it a hoot when I get those kind of emails. You got to understand, and this is relevant to the end of the episode. Okay, that you're going to hear with me and Ernie, the end of my guest appearance on the show. At the end, Ernie asks me a question that he asks me just about on any time I'm on there, because he knows I have my finger on the pulse. Okay, of the crypto economy and of the alternative economy and the alternative technologies and everything that are getting developed. And he asked me, so what's getting built right now? What's out there that we can use where people can start having everything's encrypted, blah, 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 and we're good to go. What's out there? And he asks me that all the time. And look, here's the thing that Ernie, I think he knows, but he keeps hoping that there's like going to be a great answer or something. The things that will set all of this free, the crypto economy itself, okay, is in development. There's some parts of it where it's very much ahead in development, things like Zencash and some others. There's some that are very much behind, which Ernie will name off some of those. Okay, there's others getting worked on. Look, there's people, trust me when I say this. I know because I'll say it. I work with them. There are technologies, there are projects being developed right now that will knock your fucking socks off once they're done. And they're feasible, and they're legit, and they're real. I said this, I was a guest on another podcast. This was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And yes, folks, it takes this kind of time. Okay, just like how Tim Draper said Bitcoin will be $10,000 come 2017, right? Why? How did he know that? I said the same thing. How did we know that? Because we knew that all this stuff was getting developed, and it was going to take those 3 to 4 years. Okay, we predicted it back in 2013 and 2014. We knew it would take those 3 to 4 years for that infrastructure and these businesses to finally have their products get done. Well, the products are still getting, some of them are still getting worked on for varying reasons, whatever. The projects are still getting worked on. They're still out there. Okay, I'm involved with them. This shit will blow your mind when it comes out. And when I was on that podcast that I mentioned a few years ago, the person asked me, they said, so they asked me a similar question to what Ernie asked. So what's getting developed right now that, that's really, and this is when I would use the term System D a lot, which really is just synonymous with crypto economy. Okay, they said, like, what's happening? What can you tell us about? And I said, well, here's the thing, is that if you know about it, it's probably not actually getting developed. And if it's doing it right, you're not going to know about it. If it's being developed in the proper way, you can't know about it. Why? Because you don't want the wrong people to find out. Okay, so understand that, when I get that question, I know it's so laughable. It's so fucking laughable. But at the same time, can I exactly talk about all of these things? No, and it's not like I'm under some kind of NDA. I'm not one for contracts, but people trust me. And I've said that, I've at least revealed that much before. I'm honored by the amount of people that trust me in a lot of this stuff. But there are, I can just say this, that I know for an absolute fact, they're just the most amazing things. And to some degree, I'm working with these people on these things. And there it is. Okay, and you got to wait a little bit. Yeah, you got to wait a little bit. But like we talked about the leaked Pentagon training video back on episode 200 of Sovereign Tech, okay? The government knows this shit's getting developed too. They know it's coming, and they know it's going to be here by, I think that video was like 2020 or 2025 or something like that, was the year that they were concerned that this entire alternative economy and alternative governance would come into existence. That the military wouldn't be able to do anything about. Well, that's happening, folks. Okay. Yeah, it's not here right now. It's not push button, and it may never be push button. It might just take the next generation that is very knowledgeable about how all this shit works to be able to necessarily use it. But it is happening. So, yeah, with that said, what have I done? Well, here's the thing. You don't want to know. And that's how you know it's being done right. And I'm not making any kind of bold claims. I'm just saying that some of these projects are absolutely amazing that are getting developed. Some of them are out in the open. Some of them are not so much out in the open. And, there's varying degrees around a lot of this, or varying circumstances. How about that? Varying circumstances around each of these. So anyway, this is a fun conversation that ends up getting had. And for Sovereign Tech listeners, maybe this is all very basic for you. And if so, awesome. Like that's kudos to you. But I think for a lot of Ernie's audience, they probably never really thought about it. And maybe it helped them question things to, say, yeah, I don't really need video. I don't need to see all this video activism. And, I want to touch on that too. Okay, that's the last comment I want to make here. And then we'll go into the audio. And that is, I think a lot of people would make the argument, yeah, but Stallion, we need video because video shows people it's so visceral, it's so real. They'll use that term. First off, these libertarian activists that are doing bullshit on YouTube, a lot of that is set up, and it's not real at all, and they're not even being real authentic with who they are on the camera whatsoever. Not that I mind people being a little bit more, entertaining or over the top when they, when they're being recorded in some form or fashion. Certainly I can understand that, but they're not being real. But anyway, people say, well, video's so, because like it's so provable. Like when you see it in video, then it really hits people fast and hard. Like they know that, okay, this is what's going on, and they can call bullshit on stuff. We're fast approaching a world where that's just not true. That's not going to be true anymore. You're not going to be able to believe the audio that you're hearing. You're not going to be able to believe, you're already long known that you can't believe the pictures that you see. I mean, what was that? Wrinkle in Time? Was that movie with Reese Witherspoon and Oprah Winfrey and everything? And there was that cover of Vanity Fair where Reese Witherspoon had 3 legs and Oprah Winfrey had 3 arms on the fucking cover of Vanity Fair, I think it was, or at least it was in maybe the fold out inside of it. And you found out it was because it was a bad Photoshop job, but it was all Photoshop. They were literally Photoshopping where the arms were and everything. The same thing's happening with video, where shit is being put in, or it's being edited or cut or whatever's going on in such a way that you can't believe what you're seeing in that video. I mean, it's not like UFO videos or anything, but you can't believe what's going on there. So even that, to somehow make the argument that, well, but you can trust video more, that's a dangerous thing to be espousing to people. I wouldn't go saying that, I mean, the only thing you want to trust is what you do a lot of research on. That's what you want to trust. Okay. As far as the audio, like we've already seen what Adobe, the technology that they made available, where they could listen, they could have somebody speak into the software for 5 seconds, and then it could pretty much emulate to a very believable degree anything that person could say, and it would sound just like them, right down to intonation almost. I mean, it's not 5 seconds; it's a little more than that, but you get my point. We talked about it on Sovereign Tech some years ago when that was first was demoed at an event. So, yeah, come on, don't do that shit. So I don't give a shit. I'm sure the point's now made. I don't give a shit about YouTube, but it's more that I don't give a shit about Google. But regardless, anyway, you get to hear us talk about it, and it was a fun conversation, and hopefully I gave you something extra here in the beginning, to chew on. Okay, and So I'll let this ride right out, and maybe as soon as I'm off, I cut it out to where it's just my appearance on the show, and I'll just have it stop right at the end. It won't be any outro music or anything. It'll just go and away we go, and it's all done. So this is on Declare Your Independence on March 13th, 2018. On with Ernie, and like I said, I will also be on next week, and I'll release that as well. So I'll just let this ride it to the end. I will see you on the other side.
Live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Let us make them remember, we are not afraid!
Yeah, no fear. Here and declare your independence of me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the beautiful studios of Freeze with Ass, Phoenix.com. Yeah, I must have got up early today. Okay, here we have Brian Sovereign. Brian Sovereign, Sovereign Tech, SOVRYNTECH. Sovereign with a Y. Sovereign Tech. We're going to talk about some censorship of using social media and so on, but the real thing that I'm looking at, like, yeah, whatever, make them obsolete and find something else. So I'm wondering if there's something else. I mean, we had, a bunch of it started off with, Made Safe, waiting on that. Then we got Alexander, like the Library of Alexander. You put stuff up and it's forever there and always distributed or decentralized nodes of something. Then you have library, storage, Filecoin. I still haven't got the Filecoin. Yeah, that's another thing. Donna, find out about Filecoin. Let's get the boys on Filecoin. They got to have their say. Then, so we're looking for a place to put data. And a lot of it, they'll start off with video. If you can do video, you can do just about anything. So, you put up data somewhere, your data, their data, shared data, you found some data, you like data, and you put it up and it's there forever and always, nobody can take it down, and there's nowhere to send a Hellfire missile and protest. It's the example that I use all the time is that, where can I put my Captain Polton channel? I'd be catapult. I mean, real catapult, where we're catapulting kittens into, like, various objects. I mean, cactus, broken glass, spikes, bungee sticks, whatever. Now, of course, don't advocate that, and I wouldn't do it. But the point is that you do that, man, the cat people come out. They own the internet. They're going, man, we're going to line up to protest on somebody's lawn. Well, what if there isn't somebody? That's my point. If you could stop something, all the bad stuff that's out there, all the, child sex exploited, whatever, maiming, war, gory, car crash, faces of death, it might be as bad as, red gravel or red asphalt you watched in high school when you learned to drive. Where do you put those and they stay there? Because that's not really what I'm concerned about. It's whistleblowers. It's this about that. It's the back video. I had the camera in my pocket when the politician told me whatever, and they're and bad guys of something. When you can do that, the world will change. And it started with WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks, they protected or they didn't know, or they gave a platform, a method by which you could upload documents and so on. That's what we're talking about. Because if you can do that, and you got cryptocurrency, and you can do some anonymity, I mean, bad guys start dropping like flies. This is why I go to someone like Brian Sovereign Tech, and say, Where are we at? What up? Can we expect something coming there, Brian?
Oh boy. I'll tell you, I don't mean to
rain on my parade.
Yeah. I've been saying this for some time. The hard part, I mean, all of these technologies, like all the ones you listed off, library, a bunch of others, and there's some other ones kind of coming down the pike, like there's howdo.io that's being worked on, which is really anti-censorship and lots of these other things. And that's really what we're looking for is censorship resistance. Video, I think, video is the gold standard that you want to be able to achieve. But then at the same time, I think video might be the thing that is holding back this alternative infrastructure that whistleblowers, like you said, that people can use. It's what's holding it back from actually existing.
Because they're waiting for that capability, and damn, you could have done so much other stuff while you're waiting.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like a lot of people don't understand that the internet itself, which, let's be clear, like a lot of those technologies are blockchain technologies, of course. Now, blockchain technologies are great for certain things. There's other things they're not great for. Blockchains are, by design, this isn't a bad thing. It's just a fact. They are inherently inefficient and slow. And that's okay. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a bad thing, say, when you're trying to do video and stuff like that. So, the server-based internet that we have now, the more centralized internet that we have now, is significantly faster than anything Ethereum could ever dream of being, than any of these technologies I think really could even dream of being. And people want to talk about tangles and DAGs, which are these newer developments, kind of what some people are saying is blockchain 4.0 or something like that. Even those I don't think can achieve what we're dreaming about. But the point being is that the centralized internet that we have right now, even it can't handle YouTube. It can't handle the video that goes out there. A lot of the video streaming that goes on that people know and love from various companies usually gets done. A lot of it gets done more client side, as in at the user's computer, or it's getting done, say, at the local ISP.
Okay, whoa, back up. Explain
Sure.
that. We mean most of the work. I mean, I'm getting ones and zeros from somebody.
Yeah, so those ones and zeros are getting buffered either on your own computer, buffered as in preloaded, either on your own computer, or there's a lot of buffering going on, say, at your local, whoever's doing the last mile of internet from, the centralized servers, like we said, be it, Amazon's AWS or Google or, Microsoft Azure, whatever, and what's being sent right to your home. That's the last mile between your ISP and your home. And so there's a lot of buffering going on. A lot of that stuff is getting done more locally. It's not actually, you're not straight. For example, so it was not this year, I think it was last year's Super Bowl. Twitter tried to have genuinely live video run of the Super Bowl, and it pretty much crashed the internet.
Yeah.
Because, again, the internet can't actually handle live streaming video. It's really not possible. YouTube doesn't even really use HTTPS. YouTube uses what's called QUIC. It's a different protocol because, again, even the centralized internet is much faster as it is than any blockchain technology, and it really is. I mean, that doesn't mean that.
Yeah,
that
I'm not necessarily needs to be blockchain. I mean,
right.
I get it. My thing, what Bitcoin demonstrated to the world is that, yes, with proper incentives, and people want to do it for whatever reason, and crypto is enough reason, that
Sure.
they will host their own server on the internet to be used for other people to have data on. Now, there are different ways of doing that. Some of the, it's kind of this peer-to-peer, torrent thing, and that you can have a piece of a file. That piece can even be encrypted. And it can be part of a bunch of other computers around the planet that come together to create a complete file. Now,
Sure.
that, I guess you may have buffering in your browser or buffering or something, but, bringing that and stitching it and coming together from all these different places and overlapping and some repetitive and packing and stitching it together, I mean, that's what computers are for,
Yeah, and that's the point. I mean, I guess the bottom line is that we could have all of that alternative infrastructure, encrypted communications, all that stuff. It could already be all set up. Everybody could be using it, getting on board with it, making money off of it, thanks to cryptocurrencies and things like that. If we would get off of the idea that we got to figure out how to make video work, because everything else doesn't require nearly the amount of shall I say, horsepower digital horsepower to exist. Like, and I think reaching for a lot of these different projects, reaching for trying to be able to stream video is a fool's errand. That's my point.
I asked him this very thing. I go, why do you focus on video, like library? I mean, why are you focusing on video so much? And they go, because people understand that. And if you can do that, then you can do anything, and I'm going, all right. Well, I don't remember a lot of WikiLeaks videos, but, there were some. We'll talk about it. Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Catch the call to freedom at
Hey, Brian, I noticed in that screen, the Matrix display you got up there, is that a wide screen?
Oh, it's an ultra wide. It's a 21:9. Yeah.
Where the hell did you even get that?
They're popular with gamers. LG, I mean, they're pretty inexpensive now. A couple of years ago, they cost way more.
So you probably get them for what, $200 or something, or
under $200. A listener bought me that one. So
yeah, that's sweet. And you go Matrix wallpaper or something, and there it is.
Yeah, I can pop up all kinds of stuff. It's just a second screen from my computer that's in the studio. Here.
Another good idea. You're soundproofing on the back. Is that a black packing quilt or something?
Yep. The whole room's just surrounded in those moving blankets.
Oh, that is an awesome idea.
Yeah, it works
these
nice.
Things, it's just foam, and it cost $1 billion. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, no, these cost me $40.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, that is cool as hell.
Thanks.
All right. It's got Matrix in your setup. All right, cool. And the retro Sovereign Tech Live marquee. I'm digging it. All right.
Yeah. Had to up my game.
All right. No, it's all pretty. The streaming of video, I mean, how complicated am I? I mean, there's not like a special code or something that takes up. It's just the bulk of ones and zeros to make video, right?
Yeah. It's just such a significant amount to be able to do it.
What are we looking at exponentially, the difference? I mean, are we like, to the power of 6 or something? Or
I mean, it is orders of magnitude compared to just audio, and that's the thing is that, like, the revolution that radio did in the 50s, like, I don't know why that doesn't still apply today. I mean, you don't need video to have a mental evolution in society. You can do it with just audio. And if you
it's nice to have, even if I did a video that was like stop frame cartoon. I mean, you don't have to have 20 whatever frames a second. Give me 5. I mean, just show me the image. I just want to see the picture. Hell, I just want something to freeze frame and look at anyway, Yeah,
I mean, I think the better idea is to just work on video compression, which is where Google has been putting most of its money in the past decade, because I think they know they can't actually solve the problem of being able to stream that much data efficiently.
Okay, when we come back, video compression, I'm going to ask you something. I remember the early days of YouTube, and I was shocked at what you could do. So when we come back, let's talk about video compression, okay?
You got it.
All right, we'll be right back.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Okay, you hear advertisements for Twitch. Twitch is Amazon, I think. I'm not feeling any better about that. Be on my show on the server next to the next CIA Yemen drone strike. The government is all over Amazon. Hell, they're all in Amazon. They're all on Amazon. It's like every, what do you call that? What's that? Never end with a preposition, okay? Whatever. So never end with a government program in your thing. This is a, we're going to talk about video compression because this is one thing that was surprising to me. When YouTube first started, that was the starting pistol for us to do Freedom's Phoenix. We had been always talking in the 90s, we were activists doing all the Brian stuff, back in the mid-90s. And I remember about 96, we decided, look, Freedom's Phoenix concept, it was under, some other things that we were doing, and we finally came up with the name, and we're going, if we could create this web, I know how I would do it, that kind of thing. And, but we can't until, when they do video, is exactly what these guys are thinking, Brian. They're going like this. They say, well, if we can do video, well, then everybody know we can do everything. That's what I was thinking. When they can do video on the internet, then I'm not having to worry about stuff. We can compete and let's go kick ass. 2005, here comes YouTube. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Tiger, first IT guy, I go, make it go where? And he's like, well, we got to go, either you can't, well, you got it. And I go, whoa. Is there a test afterwards or something? I go, layman geek, not, okay? I'm just layman here. I go, either you can or you can't do this the way I want that. Well, yeah, but, and I go, well, just go do it. I don't want to talk about it. Everybody wants to talk about it. Just go do it. So he started doing it. Now, of course, it's spaghetti code, and it's kind of Derek, freaking pulls his hair out. But, it worked, and we had a really well-detailed cocktail napkin, okay? So then we go on to kind of make it better. Now, this is what happened. When YouTube started, and you go in, you used to be able to do Microsoft Movie or Movie Maker or something like that. It was a part of the operating system on Windows. They had this little video editor thing that you did. Now, there were other things, but this was but simple. And it allowed for one thing that was really nice. YouTube only allowed, I think at the time, was 100 megabytes. Now, for video, that's like nothing. Well, you better be compressing you some video. On Movie Maker, there was a setting that you put, no matter how long your video was, you put in, make it 100 megabytes, okay? I need it compressed to 100 megabytes. And whatever the quality was that came out, you took and you uploaded to YouTube, and then they did whatever compression thing or whatever they did. You had the file small enough. It's like you have, 5 to 20-minute videos all over the place, and they're all 100 megabytes, okay? Later, they would allow more and kicked it up and whatever. But that's how we're loading our first ones. I liked it. It was simple. Here's the video. We take off the tape. We go do Ron Paul stuff or whatever. I push the button, make it 100. Boom. I know I can load that on YouTube and we're done. So when you talk about compression, you're talking about making it a cartoon at, 5 frames a second kind of thing? Are you talking about, some other technology? Because it's ones and zeros coming into my freaking computer, okay? So that early compression that we were doing on Movie Maker and it going to YouTube, explain that, and then how has it changed coming up?
Sure. Well, there's a couple points I actually kind of want to make on that. But the first, we'll talk about the video compression. With video compression, the idea is not, yes, like when you're using Windows Movie Maker, which by the way is a great piece of software that Microsoft canceled, unfortunately, but that would like lower the quality of the video that you had to the point where it met the requirements that you set for it, like 100 megabytes. Okay, this has to be 100 megabytes. So the video would come out looking a little more pixelated. So with video compression, it's that, but really it's about making the video and the audio take up as little space as possible. And there's been a multitude of developments about this, or with this. There's different, what they call codecs. Like you have WebM was .webm, which is like a file extension you'd see in Windows. That was a popular one for YouTube. For years they did .flv, which was Flash video, which that's dead, thankfully. But then there's X264. There's a bunch of different ones that you could talk about. And the idea is that,
so the audience understands, early on, when we started doing radio, we did Windows Movie, whatever it was, some Windows thing. and the compression was not, okay? I mean, there was the files that we'd have up when I started doing radio in '03. So my IT guy back then, he's, good libertarian, an attorney, computer science guy, whatever.
Sure.
Libertarian state chair running for attorney general this year, Michael Kilsky. I gave you props. Okay. Now, what happened was he goes, hey, man, we can record all your shows. I can put it in and automatically it take the feed and it cuts out all the commercials. It just does it by a clock. It takes this segment, puts it together, done. But it started taking up a lot of memory in the first, month or so that we were doing this. It took up a lot of memory. Oh, there's a new thing. It's called this MP3 deal. MP what? I mean, what are you talking about? Well, it compresses that. Well, MP3 came from the movie industry. It was the compression of the audio along with, I think, MP4 or something, whatever it was the video compression. And the audio of that's where we get MP3s. And I'm going, all of a sudden, boom, you go down to you could make it a bit rate and get down to nothing. It's small files if you want. It's just the quality isn't as good. So for radio, it's like 128, what do you call it, bits per second or bit?
128K kilobits per second.
Okay, kilobits per second. And then if you go half of that, 64, by going mono, not having stereo, you cut it down to half. You do that. You got AM radio quality. I mean, we could do the show pretty much in that. You could even go down to 32, which many times we have. And you get to the point where people start to complain. They go, hey, okay, you up it up a little bit. So that's what I just wanted to inject that. That was our experience in using MP3 file size. We had to do it because remember back then, I mean, you didn't have as much broadband. All right, I'm sorry. Right. Go ahead and go with the different compressions.
No, but that's a great example. It's the same exact principle, is that when we went from WAV files, which would take up, just a few minutes, would take up 25 megabytes. Like a whole song would take 25 to 50 megabytes, as to where now with MP3, and there's even more than that. There's AAC now. There's all these different ones. A song could take up only 3 megabytes. It could fit on a floppy disk, which was unheard of. Really back in the early 90s anyway. And so video really needs to do the same thing. I mean, I think that's the better direction, not to try to figure out how to stream video necessarily better, but to continually try and compress it more to where you can get, say, the same quality, like you could get a 1080p, which is, the high resolution video. Say you could get 720p or 1080p video, and you could get it into a file size that is relative to maybe the size of an audio file. And Google's been working on this forever because I think they know that that's the real solution. They're never going to be able to get YouTube to stream things directly in RAW, in an efficient fashion. So I think it's kind of missing the mark if people are working on how to stream it instead of figuring out just how to compress it better.
All right. You can see there's lots more to talk about. The main thing is, like, a CD is 128 kilobits a second, and that's the human ear. That's, man, you're really, tapping into that's about all you can discern the difference. You start getting below that, then you can start maybe telling the difference from, is it live or is it 128? Okay, so the compression part, when you're talking about compression, it's on the other side, and it produces fewer ones and zeros that you're getting. But I still am getting a file. Okay, it's like, if I have more time, we may do this when we come back. I just wanted to, it's like watching a cartoon. I was looking at new cameras to get, and on the cameras it had you could do 20. What is live frame action? 26 or something frames a second. I mean,
yeah, it's like 30 FPS.
Okay, so they go, something like that, here's this camera does 27, 29. I can't, it's around 30. Here's a 30 frames per second video camera. It's a, little Canon Sure Shot take back. I'm looking for another little camera for the family and going around.
Sure.
My camera sucks, and and I my DSL, a single SLR camera is too big, and I go, come on, man, all these guys got, man, awesome. There's this one guy, friend of mine, Scott Legear, he comes around to the park, makes these awesome photos, and I go, wow, man, you're so great. It's your freaking camera. Give me that camera. Okay, so I gotta go find a camera. Well, one of the things that it had in there, it goes frames per second, 20 whatever, and 54, and like another setting. So if you get faster frames and you play it back and lower, that gives you low speed. It's like slow motion. Okay, is what they're doing. Okay, So I'm going, all right. When you watch cartoons, the way they do it, they draw a cell. It's like a overhead projector acetate, clear piece of plastic. They got whatever the image is on there, a Bugs Bunny. Then they flip it over. They do another one. He moved a little bit. So what's the frame rate to make kind of a cartoon flow? What are they doing there? Do you have any idea?
I'm not sure like what speed exactly that they're doing that at to where they allow for that. I wouldn't be able to say.
Just put frame rate Looney Tunes. Yeah, frame rate Looney Tunes. They probably come up, But my point is that at some point, this compression of what you're talking about, and you say it's pixelated, it asks a question, especially if you're wanting to get, the nip slip on Halle Berry, something, whatever, that you're not missing. You want the high quality 10, whatever, want to see all the, skin hairs or something. But, do you need every freaking frame? You just cut out some frames, so you're only seeing, I don't know, however many, 10, it's a cartoon. So I'm wondering, which compression are they doing? Are they doing pixelated, which, it's not as clear and you don't have as many pixels and it's kind of duller, or it can be clear, but it doesn't have as many frames?
Yeah, I mean, with the compression, I think they're just, I don't know that they're lessening frames or pixels. I mean, like when you were doing it, like you're mentioning in Windows Movie Maker, that is pixelating it. Like that's literally lowering the quality of the interlaced lines on the video. But what they're doing is trying to create it's compression. It's not removing frames, but it's trying to allow the data to just come out cleaner. I'm not the biggest expert on it, but
I think I remember what it was. It was something like if I'm looking at, I think Skype does this. If I'm looking at you right now, all that stuff in the background that's not moving stays. It's not refreshed. It's only the stuff that's moving. It's like they're doing the cells of Bugs Bunny going across the background. The background just stays the same, so it's not transferring ones and zeros.
Right.
Something like that, But, okay, cartoons are 24 frames a second. That's faster.
24 FPS.
That's faster than I thought. Okay, so you see my point on the different... I think we're back in, and we'll talk about it.
Declare your independence with Ernest Hancock. To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800.
All right, Donna got me all smartified here. It says, what FPS does anime run at? That was the question. Japanimation, I guess I got their own word, runs at an average of 24 frames per second, with main objects animated at 8 to 12 frames per second and background objects as low as 6 to 8 frames a second. Decent high-quality animation in general is done at the 24 frames a second rate. This also includes animation in other mediums, such as clay animation and CG work, etc. Okay, so there is, you say the front and the background. If you're looking at me right now, all this stuff in the back is stationary. So they don't have to keep sending ones and zeros every frame because it's the same. So they reduce enormous amounts of data by just having, the background stay the same, and they only get the stuff that moves. So that's one way of compression. Then you have the eliminating frames per second. It's just like, in the audio files, you're chopping it up digitally, and then you're just taking samples, and at some point, your ears can't tell the difference until it starts to, and some are more sensitive than others. But the other thing, there was another compression you were talking about, Brian. What was that?
The other compression is just where you're trying to make the ones and zeros, as you say, just be more efficient overall, to where they can, like, for example, with the audio.
You said pixelating. What does that mean?
Oh, well, with pixelating, it's creating pixelation. So you have in video, you have the scan lines, the interlacing lines, And what'll happen is that the spaces between these interlacing lines, which is what makes up a picture, is so many of these horizontal lines and to some degree vertical if it's a progressive screen. They will, like the spaces in between that give it its definition, like its precision and its clarity of picture. They'll start to pixelate those lines and blur them a bit, and that will allow for a smaller size because the video doesn't have to have as much clarity and precision. So that's another way to do it. That's kind of the average way, that if you have a video that's in really nice quality and that you just need to get it down like by a few hundred megabytes or something, that's usually what you end up doing, is you just end up lowering the picture quality. That's really all I'm saying.
Okay, why, we hit the ceiling on capacity or something? Is there we can't make ones and zeros go faster, damn it, until Elon puts up his satellites and we get a gig up and down?
Well, I mean, as far as transmission of data, we're kind of hitting ceilings, or at least its ability to be received. I mean, and that's the crux of what we've been talking about, is that you can transmitting video and allowing people, sending it over to where so many people can access it at once, and that's really what it comes down to. It's not just one or two people watching this. The internet can't handle that amount of bandwidth. And like I said, that was pretty much proven when they tried to do actual live video with the Super Bowl last year on Twitter, is that it crashed everything because it was just,
let me tell you what a 12-year-old's going to say. He's going to go, "What are you kidding me? I've been watching Channel 12, forever."
Right.
Well, the thing is that you have broadcasting, which is it goes everywhere and everybody picks it up. What you're talking about with the internet, it's a specific signal or file going to a specific computer. So it's not like you have one thing that everybody's looking at the picture in the sky from a billion places. You got a billion transmission of the picture in the sky.
Right. Yeah, it's because it's not exactly just a receiver. It's more of a two-way street when you're dealing with the internet, of course. So
can there be a broadcasting for? You would think that there would be. Twitter wants to do this. It's like a feed. Everybody taps into that. Doesn't see. Broadcasting is exactly that. It's broadcasting. I sent these electromagnetic waves over, and it goes in and digitally and they just went a few years ago. I mean, just like 3 years ago, it was instead of analog, or you just had these broadcasting of UHF, of VHF, of whatever, and everybody got to see it. They went digital, and when they went digital, you had to be able to. So I'm still not. I guess it's digital broadcasting. What would you do?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't do video. Like, just as an example, like OuterNet. I think you're familiar with that. Yep. That project. This is where it is that one-way street where they're transmitting, the best of the internet pretty much to all around the world. And all you need is this little device that you could even hook up to your phone if you really wanted to. And you can receive, Wikipedia articles. You could even get podcasts. You can get all this other stuff. The one thing that they don't really bother with is video, because again, it's such a hog of bandwidth and resources that they don't see it worthwhile. But should OuterNet just say, well, we're going to have to wait to release this until we can do video, or should they get information to people in the disparate parts of the earth?
No, I'm hip.
I would say,
you could call it not video.
Sure, right.
Tube. No, not tube. Or not tube. That's good, man. You better go get it. Somebody's right now going to GoDaddy, and So not tube. You're doing everything but video, or it'd be everythingbutvideo.com storage, or whatever it is. That and then of course somebody goes, the next company a year later goes, and video. So it's you're saying that what's slowing down. See, it's like Derek Slopey says this about MadeSafe. He goes, I don't know why they're trying to do everything all at once. Just release a freaking messaging app.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but that's it, is that like a lot of these, wanting to build, and I know you've talked about this a lot, Ernie, and I appreciate that you do, that alternative internet, that alternative infrastructure to be able to communicate with each other, for activists to be able to communicate with each other and all this different stuff.
Privately?
All of that could be done. All of that could be rolled out right now with technology that's existed for 20 years or even longer.
Waiting on you now.
Yeah, but the thing is that nobody wants it. Nobody will take to it because everybody's waiting for this gold standard of being able to have, but we got to be able to stream video. No, you don't, and a part of me is a little annoyed because I feel like some of these people, they're so hot on video because they feel like their livelihoods are based on video-based activism, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, like, we can start using this stuff already. Let's do it. Why wait? Like I get annoyed at Signal for even like implementing video calls. Like I don't know. I that project's doing other things now, and that's fine. But I think it's something.
Let me show you right now. This is how you can do video. Wait a minute, good. Next to my heart. I gotta push the right button. Okay, we have you on live streaming. On the computer now. I go to a file. And I have all things cool with, crap, make sure I already got it up. Okay, here is the, where is it? What the heck? I pushed that. There, okay. So I have still frames up there that I can have, Brian, I get the gist of it. There's him and Stephanie and all the cool foam and everything, kind of Brian and Annie Purdy, all right? As I'm doing these frames, these could, be frames of even moving objects. It could still be, snapshot. That right there of transmitting a photo, it's still video. And does it refresh every time? Well, probably not. I think what they're doing is whatever still, they just, send. I mean, how many times do I got to reload that picture on my video screen and get the same effect? It's loaded and it just stays there, okay?
Right, yeah. The thing is, like, because you can do this, and this is a popular thing to do, and I even do it with some of my audio, where I will take a still picture or maybe a series of still pictures and just put audio to it, and like upload that to YouTube and have that be a thing. I suppose that there's an implementation that could be created, like an alternative to YouTube, where that is more of a thing where it's like more putting out PowerPoint slides effectively, and that could solve some of this problem. But it would have to be designed to handle still pictures and audio at the same time to really have an advantage.
Well,
because
see,
when I do it with you, yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is my question. If we're going to break. Is it's like Jordan Page songs. Somebody will take and they'll put some slides in to go with the song. Awesome. It kind of moves in, it moves out. Kind of this Ken Burns thing or something. I'm wondering, these techniques, do they lower the file size? Or is it just video playing? It just doesn't know the difference.
It would lower the file size, but the video would still be going out as video.
The third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. So if I were to look for another, because see, it's the need, there's a lot of video need, but if I did the show on, we're over leavemealonest.com, whatever the hell, and then you could have, no video here, please, and then you could go, all right, well, there's video over there. We did a separate server thing, and kind of it's just video, or it's like, it's like. A friend of mine, I was talking to him, and he goes, you got a bunch of miners or something, and he says, the miners, I got a gazillion miners, and they're doing all this data and transfer, and how much internet you need for that? He goes, my security camera is more than all of them combined.
Yeah.
And I'm going,
yeah, exactly.
Really? Okay, so that's good to know. And then, so it's always the video that eats up everything.
Yes.
But the reason is because of all the information that it's getting per second. It's taking all these color, all this pixels. We got to have high def 8K, blah, blah, blah. And then, you think I'm kidding, man. I was a Consumer Electronics Show. I saw, God, it was like a 24-foot high, 50-foot wide 8K South Korean TV of Don't You Want This? And I mean, you had to walk up to it like 3-5 inches away from it with your glasses and see the pixels. I'm going, damn, what's going to transmit that,
Yeah.
Well, they don't. That's when I remember when they had the laser disc back in freaking 80s, and that was, man, you want to see, well, Siskel and Ebert, you want us to screen your film at home, it better come on a laser disc because, blah, 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 blah. Technology keeps advancing, and you're saying don't wait, but if they do it within, 3 months after they do it, somebody goes, obsolete network, next. So it has to be plug-inable to create the next one, or they're going to be wasting their time and money.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And but again, like, go ahead and set up all the other really cool stuff and make that entire infrastructure. And
I don't see why not. Yeah.
Yeah. Worry about video later. Like, I mean, it's so weird that's, I mean, I get it because they think that they won't get, because for these companies, even like the liberty-oriented ones, I mean, they think that having growth in user base is the most important thing. You got to get more users, and you're not really going. I mean, like at PorkFest, why does the internet slow down? It's because everybody wants to watch YouTube while they're at PorkFest or something. Yeah. And that's the problem: is get people off, get them off this little bit of crack known as online video. But well, anyway,
I mean, you can understand why. There's a lot of information that be relayed there, and they go, "Hey, I didn't go to the gym, look all hot, and get tan, and get this bikini, to be doing a podcast." I mean,
yeah, right.
There's motivations here. So I'm all right. Let's talk about, last segment, I want to, focus more on what can be done. Okay,
sure.
Here we go.
Freedom is the answer. What's the question?
I want to break free.
You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
I want to break free.
I
want to break free from your lies. Yeah, so
uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies here on Declare Your Independence. All right, Brian Sovereign, big independence declaring kind of individual in New Hampshire. He and Stephanie Murphy, doctors all. I'm sorry. Gotta get that in. Damn, seriously. All right, so the doctors. Well, what we're going to do is, first off, to go find them, you go to Sovereign, SOVRYN, Tech, Sovereign Tech, and you just put that in, it'll blow up all over your search engine, which I can't say Google it anymore. I can't do that. Search engine, screw them, man. Or, watch on YouTube. Well, it's not on YouTube, it's on video. Yeah, whatever. One of the video I'm going, no, I'm not branding helping these guys,
Right.
They're going to freaking slay me. Next hour, we got Dmitry Marashik Rasa, is coming on. He wants to open a bank in St. Kitts. They're making progress on this. So I'm going, really? Well, I have a highfalutin banking individual that I made sure give me the questions you want me to ask him. So that's going to happen. Tim Ball, professor from Canada, it's on climate change issues. He's been getting a lot of attention. We've interviewed him over the years, and it's just he's going because he did a lawsuit in Canada. So he says, "Oh no, you're not for climate change." He goes, "Oh yeah, let's do that court, evidence thing. Let's go to court." Damn it, I hate when these guys do that, So anyway, that'd be interesting in the third hour. Now, Brian, we're talking about, what can't be done or is difficult to do, and because they keep trying to make their platform, everything's got to do video. And you go, if you would just get that tar baby off you, if you just quit and worried about that, we can do some rock and roll kick-ass stuff. And it was a decade ago, WikiLeaks came up. There wasn't about serving no video file. I mean, you could download the file or whatever, but it had a great impact on society just by having some of the features that we want. Anonymity, privacy, no censorability, none your business, whatever. You could put up and share things. So this is what you're talking about. Share with us.
Yeah. Well, first thing I want to say, like, as far as what's out there, what could be done, what's being done. You brought up a great example earlier, Ernie, of Twitch, which is now owned by Amazon. Originally, it wasn't. And I think a lot of people felt more comfortable with it because it was an independent company, and maybe they felt like their data and other things weren't getting schlepped off to, every tech giant and then by default to every government and alphabet soup organization out there. Keep this in mind, that whatever you're looking to support, see if it's something that is, you want it to be completely open source, something that you could replicate yourself if you had the technical knowledge and ability. And look at maybe the philosophy behind what they're trying to do, because any company can just get bought out by one of these tech giants. Any technology could just get bought out. Like actually Amazon just last week, they bought the Ring video doorbell, which was something a lot of people were using, which was video at your front door. And I think a lot of people bought into it, thought it was really cool, very handy for their packages and stuff like this. And then Amazon buys it out for $1 billion.
No. The intelligence community bought it out.
Well, there you go. Yes, exactly. You got it.
With the name Amazon.
Right. Yes. No, you're absolutely
Who's at
right.
Ernie's front door? Wait. They pushed the button, said, take my picture. I'm standing right here. I'm at Ernie's front door. Thank you for playing. Now go do your Facebook. It's bad, man.
Yeah, no, you got it exactly. And because it's corporatism. These tech giants work with the government hand in hand. And so, keep that in mind, that like anything, you think, this technology, well, it's independent. It's not working with Google. It's not doing this. Well, Google didn't own YouTube either. They bought that out. So any of this stuff could get bought by these tech giants. And then all that data that this supposedly independent company collected on you or has on you just became the property of, again, the governments and whatever else. So that's something to keep in mind. I think a lot of the projects out there, like I mentioned, OuterNet, even stuff like Signal and things like this, like those are apps that you could use right now those are technologies that you could use.
You said
right
OuterNet a couple of times. Let me go ahead and describe that real quick. OuterNet was like a Kickstarter project that you carry in like a briefcase, and it was round satellite dish that you just, took the top off, you put the dish up, it spreads out, and it looks at space. Well, there's a CubeSat up there that they decided that you could text in requests for stuff, and it kind of is like preloaded. It's kind of like looking at Wikipedia. It's kind of like, going to World Book Encyclopedia. It's kind of whatever. And they transmit it down to that device, and it takes that data and it puts it on a hard drive, and then that becomes a router that just sends out Wi-Fi, so anybody in the village of the Congo, whatever, can have a tablet and they can do school from space.
Exactly.
So Khan Academy, this kind of stuff. But you're not able, the bandwidth isn't there for you to be able to go, I want this specific thing, now give me. It's serving like, it's like broadcasting a channel, So it is a big giant leap forward. And if you're the little smart, super 180 genius kid in a tribe in the middle of the Amazon, you are served, sir. And when you have disaster relief or something like that, and they transmit, and your kid's over here, or something, it has enormous potential, for that. And it was just the beginning, way before all these other satellites of Spaceship 14 and Falcon, whatever, that it was already done with CubeSats. How far off am I?
No, you got it. I think you got it. And that's that's only a one-way street, unfortunately, but that's an example of something where if you just ignored the problem of, okay, how do I get this much data to stream? You can still do tremendous good in the world, and create like something that people, like you said, in the Congo or wherever, just never had before. That's remarkable.
It could be channel. They do it now. It's channels. It's satellite channels. You just go, but it's all broadcast. It's not like you get to ask for a certain thing. They're just constantly sending the channel. We've had that. It's called TV. Okay.
Yeah, sure. There you go.
The specific thing that you want, I want this now. It's like the Olympics. They do the Olympics. They went through all this crap. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. That was totally worthless, being able to try and watch and enjoy anything there. So they lost billions on this thing because they're stupid, okay? So never mind. You need to lose money. You got to get this thing fixed. And that Olympics and worldwide coverage of things is what's going to be the motivation to do exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and there's other projects. There's LibreMesh, which is creating mesh networks with your own routers that you buy. You have to buy older routers to do it, but that's something that's being actively developed today and worked on. Again, your speeds would not be the greatest in the world to maybe where you want to do video, but you could certainly be setting up, all these different computers, to contact and have like your own little internet. There was a story about 2 months ago that I think there's some on 900 communities just in the United States alone. In Europe, it's far more popular, where the communities themselves, like in Detroit and other areas, they're just using what they call dark fiber, which is fiber that, say, Verizon left over that they never bothered to use, or they're using, all this infrastructure that's actually already there that nobody's using. They're just commandeering it. Nobody's using it, and they're taking it and they're connecting their routers to each other, and they're creating their own internet. Or if there's areas where, say, Comcast or someone doesn't think it's financially viable to bring internet to, say, this part of a community or this area, and they're just paying it for these communities are paying for it themselves to lay out the infrastructure, or they're even doing it themselves. And the beautiful thing is they're not just connecting to what I call the big bad internet, which is the World Wide Web that we all know and hate. They're connecting to just each other. They're creating an intranet where it's just for whatever's going on locally, and just amazing things are happening with that as far as education and people just getting together and relying on themselves instead of the state. Or even big corporations, whatever else. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So it's really kind of happening. And I think people just, maybe they what they need to realize is that they don't need all of the feature richness that the rest of.
Okay, is that, I tell you what happens. They suppress until
Sure.
they do what you're talking about and screw it. We don't need it. There it is. Sorry. We just didn't want you to have it yet. We got it, but you don't get it, And, but a lot of times it's the Liberty community or guys in it that are the ones tapped. They go, the FBI does the DEF CON to get the 13-year-olds to go figure out crap, So now we have hackathons there are so many people are learning to do this stuff. How far away are we? And what's up with MadeSafe? We getting it someday? What's up?
I don't really know as far as with MadeSafe goes, what's happening there. I mean, there's other like Zencash. I mean, there's a few out there that are doing things similar and maybe not waiting on video to be the issue. So the stuff's getting developed. It really is. If not developed, it's already there.
Well, what the hell, man? I mean, I tell you what I want. It's pirate communications. I want to know it because a lot of this, brings in the ability for us to be able to communicate. Hell, at least text. I remember the last time, one time you were on, when I loaded Signal, you were on. I loaded Signal, and all of a sudden I start getting all these emails from everybody going, hey, they're on Signal, and you're on Signal, and everybody's on Signal. I'm going, well, that wasn't very piratey. I'm just like, no, hell no. Brian Sovereign Tech, Sovryn Tech. Go check out his show and his podcast. Every single one of them, very informative. And unfortunately, I got him, here I'm listening to in the background every week.
The Free State Project has...
Okay, that right there, I'm there. What is available now for me to have my pirate communication? Now, I had, I can't remember his name, from Demon Saw. Devin, whatever his name was. He came on and we yacked about it, and I go, okay, well, what do you need? I mean, I got a little bit of money. I know some people with money, and if you come up with, I can send ones and zeros. Nobody knows where it came from or who received, and then it's private. Well, yeah, I did. DEF CON I talked about, and Demon Saw, and I'm going, all right, well, show me. Let's do it. Freaking rock and roll, man. Let's do it. What do you need? Well, then it's always, a year and a half, a team of 12 people. We're sitting there coding, drinking beer, eating pizza, and we'll kind of go, no. You got to come up with better, more something. I mean, all these nodes, this capability of splitting up files, making them encrypted, and then serving. Well, okay, we got onion routers that can do and torrent, and then you find out, yep, and they're working with the man. So we're going to find everybody. Is that possible?
Yeah. Have you talked to Zencash at all? Have you talked to Rob Viglione?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, you want to talk to Zencash because they're doing, they have their secure node system set up and everything. They're doing it. I mean, the thing is,
now Zencash, isn't it a crypto? No.
Well, it's a yeah, but it's a whole platform. It's not just a cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So because they have messaging built into it, and it's all being encrypted with zero knowledge proofs, which is great. Which is similar to.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Question. Zencash right now, I can say private, send private. You don't know where it came from. Done. Pinky swear. Text messages.
Yes, but it does cost you. So it's not something that's. I mean, like it costs a certain amount of Zen.
Oh my God! Does it cost me more than a nickel?
I don't. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, so I can send Zencash a private. I don't know what the hell you guys don't listen to the radio commercials or something. I need pirate communication. Okay, this is how it goes, Brian. I pull my pirate ship into the harbor of whatever. I see the Eye of Sauron, lighthouse over there. They're looking over the harbor. You see this pirate ship kind of doing the flashy light thing with that pirate ship over there. Now, it's all encrypted and coded, and, and the all-seeing eye of Sauron, signal, telegram, WhatsApp, whatever, sitting there looking at it. Oh, no, we can't tell what you're saying. It's encrypted. But we sure as shit know who's saying the what. That ship is going to that ship, and then that ship went to these ships, and then we looked at that guy's ship list of we kind of all of a sudden, boom, you mapped out the network. Gee, I wonder what freedom guys are talking to the other freedom guys about. It's probably something about freedom, They don't need to know what you're talking about. They just want to know your network. Hell, that's 90% of what I want them not to know anyway. So when the metadata thing, oh my God, Verizon, and they got all our metadata, and they're looking, look at this Signal app, let's load that. I go, what the hell do you think that is? They just skipped all the other shit and just did metadata, and you were freaking out a week ago, and now you're all up and promoting this shit. I'm going, I just want to slap people, okay? So I'm going, that's why I'm being such a dick about this. I go,
sure,
no. I want hailing frequencies invisible to the crown. Now, you're saying Zencash, I can do, and I spend a little Zen, that I can send a message that the other person gets that no one knows where it came from or who got it.
Well, they don't. Yeah, they'll know. Like potentially, you could know the origin address, but you don't have to tell anybody that's your origin address, and all of that gets handled and mixed at secure nodes. So, like that, it's pretty much as close as you could imagine to doing that. The other one would be, but it would be using Tor, and if you have concerns with Tor, which I could understand, Tor chat would also be, but that one's free. But Zencash is definitely, you want to talk to those guys because they're full on libertarian. They're philosophically,
which has a lot to do with it. Which is why we're doing these letters of marque. Is what I'm finding out is all these tech guys and new tech guys, and they're exponentially getting bigger. This is one. Was it Malcolm Gladwell did a thing, Outliers, and David and Goliath. I read both the books, but one of them had Outliers. He's going, these guys that spend 10,000 hours on something, all of a sudden they're really good at it. They're a violinist, they're this, they're a coder, they're whatever. The only reason Bill Gates and Steve Jobs got to be, great and wonderful, made all the money, because they had access to computers when they were kids. They lived there from Palo Alto, they did, whatever, their school had a computer, they got access to, they went to the university to use it in the off time and whatever, they were one of these little computer geek kids. Well, they were the first ones to get to 10,000. How many 10,000 hour computer geek kids you think we got now? You feel me?
No, I agree.
So this is, here we go, and there's something holding it down. There's a lid. There's pressure. There's social pressure. They got them on Facebook, and now they're just making them glow kids. There's a book out called Glow Kids. They just everybody's got the glow face on while they're looking in their camera all the time. So there is this answer is coming, and the Zencash. I'm looking. I've heard of it. It's a crypto, right?
Yeah, it is a cryptocurrency, but then again, it's also a platform for messaging and publishing, and they have all kinds of like governance systems that are not government, but like governance systems in place. They have a lot of really big ideas. It's really one of the few cryptos I actually care about. So
okay, well, it's down now from a high. It's like go buy a bunch of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's on sale. So because it was at like $60 at one point, but they're
like 15, what is it now? 16.
That's probably like 20. Oh wow,
no, it's 2083. Yeah.
Oh okay, yeah. So, but they're Rob Viglione. If you talk to him, I mean, he's on board. He's got it.
Okay, this is wait. Here's Rasa. Hey, Dimitri. Rasa.
Hey, Ernie.
All right, Rasa, help me out here. I got 3 names. What am I calling you?
Michael is fine.
Mike.
Ross is fine.
All right, Michael. Yeah, Rasa. Yeah, I got Brian Sovereign on. Say hello.
Hey, Brian. Probably long time no see. I've traveled so much that we may have run into each other. Maybe not.
Yeah, hey, Ross.
Big fan.
Yeah, no, likewise. Been a while since we were in the Ford Explorer there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, no. I've been talking with Brian about, I'm trying to get pirate communication. I send a message or I watch a video or I just want none of your business. So he's saying Zencash, I can do messaging that's pretty private. What do you think?
Yeah. Zencash and, any kind of currency that allows you to add text messages on or other kind of data on top of the transaction itself, I guess would work.
Well, see, Bitcoin had that.
But it would.
Well, Bitcoin had that, note thing. They got colored coins. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. And I go, wait a minute. There's a text thing I can put in with a Bitcoin transaction? Well, yeah. I go, well, why are we exploiting that? What the hell? There's something else going on, man. Somebody's got to explain it. Brian, we got to talk again about this. This is pirate communication, damn it. You get all up on something.
Yeah, we could talk it up. Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. Well, I have Donna, tap on you for next week or week after, and we'll do it again. All right.
Sounds
talk to
great.
you later, man.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.